right, guys. Last one up here is look at Stellar Lumens, XLM, and I'm working to the dollar tether over on Binance. That's where the volume is. So we don't have as much history here, but we do have we've got enough to work with here that we can make sense of this. Now, I have this set of median lines on here that seems to be influencing the market and containing it rather nicely. So you can look here and you kind of, you know, there was clearly a 5 here. So the way I see this, I think this is just an A, a B, and we go up for a C here. So this is our corrective structure. Now from this pivot up here, if we go down, interestingly, we break here. All right, so here's the break. We come back down. Now, they see, remember, it's always working from both sides. So from here, all right, we break on this side, but we hold the 786. So, you know, you've got algos on both sides are losing. Now, it looks like potentially now one of them stayed with it here, or they just reloaded here. All right, so maybe a front run on the 50. It's hard to know, right? We never know exactly what they're doing, but that's so close. And then look what we do, right to it. So you have to assume that's an algo sell based on what follows. That's the kick. And then now look, so here's the, it's kind of interesting. So you wouldn't, it's not a clean golden, but so swing high, swing low, we do get it. So you do have a corner pocket here. Right, but you wouldn't, it's the secondary push, right? So this swing relative to this swing, remember, I will remind you, they like the alternating pivots. That's a favorite that they write the algo. Now, so look what happens here. So first here from the corner pocket, well, there's your 80% realized right there, right? So right, as long as that pivot holds, 80% odds of making the median line, well, boom, 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 we get the lower parallel, now we're back to the median line. So if this is going to, if this count here is there's any possibility of this now starting to make the turn, well, one, we're running out of room. But if it's going to happen, well, we're going to need to make a big push through, and we're going to need to get through. Well, first let's get through the median line, right, and hold it. Here we have a little poke beyond it, but back over. So this is going to need a pretty good rip to get out of the hole down here. So with that established here, that is just amazing. All right, so let's pull this out now. So is there a count here that works? Well, this last 5 down, right? So from the corner pocket straight down, God, how do you miss? There's just such a clear 5, and just everything about it is perfect. All right, so here's the 1 golden zone on this, third target for this, retrace to the 38. It's just, I can't script them up for you better. I couldn't go to a textbook and say, well, let me tell you, this is kind of what they're supposed to look like. All right, so 23 to 38, high probability get the target, right? Multiple times. So this just cannot argue with that as an impulse that appears to be finishing. Now, what's going to get a little problematic here is if we break. Now, if this rolls over here and we break this pivot and we're going down again, well, we got to reconsider it. Right, so maybe this has to become the 3. Not ready to go there yet. So this is so clean and all the subdivision is good. I'm hanging on to that as a solid low until proven otherwise. Now you have a deep retracement here, but you have the subdivision that looks fairly solid. So A, B, down for the C. Can we get out of here? Well, you can definitely get an impulse here. You can definitely get the 1 wave started. It looks more promising until we get this last rollover here. So, yeah, we break, hold. Look, it's golden zone, golden zone, golden zone. Here's the break, back to the golden zone. Prior support becomes the resistance. Now we're down all the way to the 887. Now it's a, boy, you know, it's hard to do. What am I on a 4 hour? Well, let's go to a 1 hour. It's hard to get the subdivision in there. Right, so from this, you know, what do you do with that bar? Right, there's no break in there. So you'd have to, you'd have to. So if anything, if it's going to be done here, you'd have to go some sort of 1, 2. You're gonna, I'm not going to go down to 15. You'd have to go 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same problem. It doesn't finish, right? Like this is so consistent across crypto. It's really a bit interesting, but also frustrating for an Elliott trader. So how do you get 5 out of that? You don't, right? So I can get a diagonal out of this. So coming here, I can get a leading diagonal. So I can get a 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5 are about to come. Now this, so we've lost the buy side algo, of course, right? So from the pivot low, we're so far beyond those. So let me pull this back out here, and so we're so far beyond here. We have no buy side algo now. So we're gonna have to dig out of here with, it's just gonna take force, volume, aggressive buyers, because you're gonna run into the algos on the way back. Of course, we know that. So I'd start with this one. All right, so this point of control here on the visible range. So even if I just go to what's here, really just focusing on this, that's going to take some juice to get out of there. So, but you do have a contender here. So we clear impulse here. So I can get 5 down here. It looks like A, B, C into the B here, but then I've got this kind of difficult just to free fall. What else do you do with it, right? So maybe, God, can you even get a 2 in there? Well, you can't. What? I'm now at a 15. It's just a straight rip. It's just not there. So what do you do? Right, it's kind of, so one thought is, okay, next market. Right, if you can't see it, why force it? So you have to just go, well, there's a 2 in there somewhere. Right, that's about all you can do. I mean, I'm not going to go down to the 1 minute, but it's just, you don't have a lot of choices. So, best case here, you had, oh geez, can you even get A, B, C out of that here, and then straight down, right? It's again, right, this straight, no break. I'm on a 15-minute. So your best case here is that some sort of 1-2 is in there down at a super low level, and we've got a 3, 4, same problem, right? Can't finish it in 5, right? So it makes you suspect of this low, but I can definitely get a diagonal coming out of the hole here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can get that. And I can get an A, B, it's a new one. Yeah, I guess you can get it. So you can get an A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm good there. So the 1 and the 2 looks all right, although it's right to the golden zone. Okay, so we have a potential golden corner pocket here if this is going to dig out. So up to that, down here. All right, so there is your golden corner pocket, right in the pocket, right? Just enough to get in there. Am I right spot on here? Let's make sure I am. Get that right on there. I think this one is a little off. There we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, right to the golden zone, golden corner pocket, right? So as long, remember, it's always the caveat. As long as this pivot holds, we have 80% probability of making that median line. Right now, guys, 80% is not 100%, right? So that doesn't mean we must go here, right? They're going to fail, but right now, there's no reason to assume anything other than this, right? That we're going right there. Maybe, you're working on the 1 of the 3 here, and it looks like it'd be another diagonal here. I'm still on a 15 minutes, so still looks like still trying to take some shape here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe you've got a little diagonal started, so that would be the 1 of the 3. Nothing says the 3 has to stop here. We've got this up here as well, right? We're going to run into. So here we'll have the 1618 of the 1, 2, and we'll run into the 50 from the swing high. So you've got potential for this to go. Now you wouldn't want to see this come back down here and test this. So you'd think, okay, if we're in the process of, doesn't look like that's done, but if we're in the process of putting in right to the 50. So if this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, you'd expect the pivot at the 50. So if we can get a 1 here, so if this comes and we finish here and we come down for the 2, and we get the 3 and the 4 and the 5, well, now we're getting, beyond the edge of that set of median lines. So maybe you have to work to a modifier. Maybe there's another pivot that has to be used here. But there's a time factor here with median lines, so we can't drag on too much without either going to a modifier, and maybe we look at the shift. Maybe we're going to do it this way. Back to the median line, up for the 5. So that's not unreasonable. I guess that should be get that in a different color. Let's go, we'll go up a degree. All right, so that's possible here. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the median line, up here. Well, so 5, this would be the 4, so the 3 would be up here. All right, it's not crazy. Let's tighten it up. It's a contender. Right, so you're still dealing with this ugly finish here, but the one golden zone, it's at least all of the ingredients are there to maybe get something to kick here. Now it's got to finish here. We got to get up here and get to that algo target off of this 50, and it's a little premature to say that that's underway. Really, you can make just as strong a case that we've just got an ABC. So that's going to need that last little kick here, and it's not racing to get there just yet. So we'll see if that develops here. But right now, this we can lean into 1 and a 2. So there is you can play the buy here. There is definitely a trade there. You could be on the long side here with just using the algo target, and of course we don't want it to break that 65, particularly as a golden corner pocket. So first target, you got that 2 to 1, not enough, right? So you'd have to go to look for the second target. So now at least you're going to get 3.5 to 1. Right? So the risk reward here is you're going to need to get a good 3 out of this. Now you get all the way to the algo target. Now we're looking a little bit better, 4.79 to 1, and this is because we need to give it down to this pivot. You got to give it that much room. So any sort of little pullback here, we're already at the 50 if this is going to play as the leading diagonal of the 3, so it would be the 1 of the 3. If that plays here, right, so you gotta go after some of these bigger numbers to make the risk reward friendly, right? Otherwise, 2 to 1, it's not worth the risk. There's not enough there. Now this is there, but it's going to need to be a 3. So if you took enough to where you could take some partials, right? You could one target, second target, third target. So you could get potentially all of it there. And but along the way, all you're doing is just you're going to run into this 50. So you gotta look at the B as well. So so here this would get you through that 618. So notice here we want to tick through the golden zone here. So we're going to need to get through that here if we're going to get a true third wave here. But right. So let's say, what if you ran into that and that kicked it? What do you got there? No, and that's 3.6 to 1. Wouldn't be it would work as a 3, right? It would be longer. It would be longer than the 1, but it's not what you'd hope for. So maybe if you come back down here, right? So maybe now that would just be the 1 of the. That could be the 1 of the third. Oh shit! It could be the 1 of the 1. Right, if we're going to come out of the hole down here. So it's not, it's not the prettiest trade I've ever seen, but it's there. So if you're looking for something, this is not unreasonable, but you do have to give it that kind of room. You got to give it to below that pivot. So just because it's a golden corner, it's not necessarily, got to jump on it. Here in the shift, we've already hit the median line. So I'd keep it at original as long as possible. Maybe we got to put the runner on that. So we'll put the 1.5 on that for the parallel. Maybe that holds us here. But we're going to need to get busy, right? This is going to need to hurry up and get there, right? The angle's not going to work for us. And I suppose you could get up here. So if you're long here, there's your 65. So you're going to hit resistance there. And 4.5 to 1. Right, if you're going to get all of that, right, that's making some big assumptions. That would get you to the median line, right? But of course, the corner pocket could be realized right here, right, or here or here. Anyway, just as long as we get the median line, that 80% is realized. 3, 4, 5. Now we're looking good. Now we lean into that pivot despite this funky finish. So because of that, I wouldn't want to give this enough room to come down here and threaten this low, because I'm already a little suspect of that low. So that's why I'd have my stop on the 65. If it bangs at the 786 and it holds and then starts to go again, great. You wait for the first. Just wait, do the same thing, right? So if we were to come down here, you take the stop there, do same thing, right? Look for that. No really easy trades here today, right? Nothing but mixed messages here. So, I'd be patient, right? I guess I love talking to a lot of members today. Don't feel like you need to be in the market at all times. Right? Pick your spots. Right now, in crypto, there's not a lot that looks great. We got a few that are running. and a few that had the potential to have put in a significant low, but there aren't as many clean finishes, and this just being another example of it, right? How do you finish that? So I trade defensively is, I guess, with the way I want to leave that, right? So let's be defensive. It's not the time to be overly risk on. Right? It's time to play a little defense. So if you're in the market, I'd be very disciplined with my money management. It's just there's just a lack of trend, right? So what's the one trend we do know it's in play in crypto is the downtrend. So it's a little early to be saying trend change. But right, if we get one, this is what it's going to look like. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. All right, we'll see you later.